Included in Mod C Unit 1 Lesson 3 on the circulatory system is the respiratory system. So here's the seminar on the respiratory system. The respiratory system is made up of a group of organs that take in oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. So you can see an image here. And then on this next slide here is the path the air takes to get to your lungs. Air can be inhaled both through the nose and the mouth, and then it travels through a series of passages or tubes once it leaves the oral cavity. First the pharynx, then the larynx, the trachea, bronchi, which split into your two lungs. You've got a left and a right lung. And then within the lungs, we've got smaller tubes, bronchioles, and little air sacs called alveoli. So step one, air is inhaled through your nostrils. Every animal has nostrils. So you can see here human. Horses have quite large nostrils. The pharynx is a passageway that both food and air can pass through. So it's important to keep that clear. If it gets blocked, then we say that that person is choking, and you can use the Heimlich maneuver to try to clear that blockage, that food that's lodged in the pharynx. The larynx is the next part of that tube. This is where your vocal cords are found. Your vocal cords make sound, produce sound by vibrating. And boys, you know that as you go through puberty, your voice drops, it gets lower because your vocal cords lengthen. The trachea, you can actually feel in your throat. It has a lot of rings of cartilage that make it strong. So those are the bumps you can feel if you touch your neck. Your trachea has to stay open. And again, this is another place where food can get lodged. If you take too big of a bite or you laugh while you're eating, something like that, the Heimlich maneuver would help force air back up through the trachea to clear that blockage, hopefully dislodge the food that's stuck there. So here is an inside view of the trachea, and then here's that diagram showing the larynx connecting to the trachea, which then splits into the next thing we'll talk about, the bronchi. The bronchi branch into your two lungs. They're short tubes, and they carry oxygen to the lungs as you inhale. Your organs are lungs that are filled with a lot of pathways for air. Some of them, your lungs, both oxygenated blood and oxygen poor blood circulate through your lungs. This is where the gas exchange takes place. And you can see here these healthy lungs are nice and pink, and they surround the heart. Remember, the job of the heart is to pump blood through the lungs where it picks up oxygen. And then that blood goes back into the heart, and it's pumped out throughout the body. Bronchioles are smaller tubes that carry air inside of the lungs. So after the trachea branches into the bronchioles here, then into the bronchi, then it splits into even smaller tubes that go throughout the lungs called bronchioles. And at the ends of the bronchioles are all of these small air sacs called alveoli. They're surrounded by capillaries, those microscopic tubes for transporting blood, and it's in the alveoli that gas exchange actually takes place. Oxygen is placed into the blood and carbon dioxide is removed. Now, alveoli look sort of like branches of grapes, and the goal here with the alveoli is to increase surface area so that there's more room for those gases to be exchanged. The waste product carbon dioxide is removed from the blood there, and then oxygen is placed back into the blood in the alveoli. Your diaphragm is a muscle that rests below your lungs. When you inhale, it contracts. You can see in this picture it gets shorter. And then when you exhale, it relaxes, it lengthens, and that pushes the air up out of the lungs, and you exhale. When you inhale and it shortens, that creates a vacuum and it draws air in to your lungs. So when you get the hiccups, what's happening is that muscle, the diaphragm, is having spasms. That's a quick overview of your respiratory system.